Hey everybody, it's Brooke with The Buttered Home and welcome to my messy kitchen. Spring is in full swing and we are excited and we are going to be sharing some of our most favorite spring recipes in anticipation of summer with you. These can easily be done with produce that you find at your grocery store, or you can do these in the summer if you grow these items yourself. And to kick things off for this month, I am sharing with you today my recipe for easy refrigerator pickles. So I loved it when my grandmother would can. I did. The pressure cooker didn't scare me. It did burn me once, but it still didn't scare me. I knew that when she was canning, that meant that we had produce or whatever she was canning at the time to last us throughout the upcoming winter. I always looked forward to that, but I'll just be honest. So like rice and grits, there are just some things that I'm just not good at, and canning is one of them. Canning by myself scares me a bit. But I love to grow cucumbers every summer and I love to make pickles with them. And so today I'm going to share with you my way around the scary part of canning cucumbers and turn them into pickles. So we're going to show you how to make them in just a few hours or overnight in your refrigerator, and they're really good. And this is a recipe that you can mess with and make your own, just like all of our buttered home recipes. So I'm going to move the camera and so you can see exactly what I'm doing. Hang on with me, we'll be right back. Okay, so I have my canning station set up. I've got a small boiler over here. Well, it's probably like a medium size, maybe a 2-quart boiler. And this is what we'll make our pickling liquid with, and this is real simple, and you can make this completely sweet or you can make it completely dill. I like to do mine with just a small mix of both. Now, there are a couple of ways I like to use these pickling cucumbers, and I'll sometimes just cut them into discs so I can have like hamburger chips. But today, I'm just doing a small amount, so I'm gonna do them in spears. And I'll do them this way so that you can see you know, that this is a really versatile recipe. So I cut the ends off of about 2 medium cucumbers. Well, these are actually small. And then I'm just going to cut the cucumber in half. I mean, directly in half. And then depending on the size of the cucumber, you can either get 2 stalks, depending on how big you want your spears, or 3 out of it. This is a bigger cucumber, so I'm going to go with 3 and just cut that into thirds. Now you want to be careful doing this because cucumbers are slick and you want a good sharp knife. A good sharp knife keeps you from cutting yourself. And then we have them into these little spears. So the first thing I'm going to do is take a clean jar and just pop those right into my jar. Now the full recipe calls for 1 to 2 medium cucumbers, and that can usually make you a quart of pickles or 2 pints like this. So I used 2 smalls today, but the pickling liquid, I mean, it really just doesn't matter how you slice it. And quite simply, all it is a cup and a half of white vinegar, and we have that in our boiler. And then to that, we're going to add a half of a cup of granulated sugar. Now, if you want these to be a little more dill, then you can take that amount of sugar and take it down. But we're not going to bring this to a boil. We just want everything just to kind of come together and the sugar and the salt dissolve. So now to that, we're going to add about 1 whole teaspoon of salt, and my heat is pretty hot. And I'm using sea salt. Has no iodine. I find it works well with everybody's diet. You can also use pink salt, which is also very good for you if you have sodium issues, low or high. All right, so our sugar has dissolved and the salt is just about dissolved. Now, so that this won't come to a boil, it's all good and melted. As you can see, I'm going to turn it off, turn the heat off. And then over here to my jar, I'm going to add a little bit of dill. This is where your flavor preference comes in. So this is a sweet and sour pickle for me. So I've got the full recipe of the 1/2 cup of sugar, and I'm doing probably about a teaspoon of dill. Then I like to add in some whole peppercorns, and I have a pepper mill, so I keep a jar of these peppercorns on hand, and they add just another nice little bite to the pickle without making them too hot, but it does kind of counterbalance that sugar that's in here. So you have just a touch of sweet, but not too much. If you wanted to make a sweet pickle, you could add a little more sugar and leave the dill out completely. So at this point, we're going to take our pickling liquid and pour it over the top. Now, if you're doing this for a full recipe in a quart jar, you'll see that's not going to be enough liquid. So I have some water on hand, and then we're just going to just fill that up just to the bottom of the mouth of the jar. Then we're going to take our lid and just get it finger tight. And finger tight means that you don't bear down and tighten it up. You want to be able to easily open it, but you still have a good seal in here. Now, this is rather warm, so I let this cool on the counter until it's cool to the touch, and then we put them in the refrigerator for at least maybe about 4 hours after it's cooled. And that allows that vinegar and sugar and the pepper and the dill to permeate your cucumber slices and pickle them. Who knew it could be so simple? Now, here are some that I have done ahead of time. They have been in the refrigerator for, I actually did 2 of these pint jars. So the one is gone and this one has already been started on. And they last anywhere for about 2 weeks in the refrigerator. And these have been in there quite a while. You'll see there's no discoloration. It's still perfect and good and crunchy too. Absolutely delicious. If you need a pickle and you want to make one homemade, these are fantastic. So I'm going to move the camera back and we'll be right back with you. So hang tight. So really, can it get any simpler? I mean, it's just a few ingredients, and most people, if you're like me, you already have these things in your kitchen anyway, and all you have to do really is go out and get the cucumbers. And this is fabulous for extra cucumbers that you might have in your garden this year. This is a great way to make some of these pickles and give them as gifts. You can tie a pretty little ribbon around here or use some fabric in between the ring and the lid and give it as a food gift. And what a great food gift without a ton of effort. Just like all of our other recipes, this can be doubled to make more. It can also be modified to fit your needs. If you don't want a dill pickle, then leave the dill and the pepper out. If you want just a sweet pickle or slightly sweeter than these are, you can add just a bit more sugar. Our recipe is the best of both worlds. It gives you just enough dill, and that 1/2 cup sugar gives you just that little bit of sweet to kind of counterbalance that dill in there. So if you wanted to try your hand, figure out what you liked, you can follow the recipe as is and you'll have a perfect pickle every time. Then after that, you can decide exactly how you want it and then modify it from there, that point forward. My recipes are your recipes. They are meant to get you in the kitchen and get you cooking and thinking about what you're cooking. And we also like to throw in a little food preservation here and now and again, you know, some that's not quite so scary. So we hope that you'll try this easy refrigerator pickle recipe. Just like all of our others, it can be found at thebutteredhome.com. All of our recipes are easily searchable either at the top of the page or in the middle of that main page. We hope that it's easy for you to get around over there and find what you need. And as always, if you're not following us on all of our social channels, we would love for you to do that. We have a lot of fun on all of our social media channels, and you just never know what videos are going to pop up where. So make sure you're following us everywhere. And speaking of videos, if you want all of our videos in one place, easy to find, we would love for you to subscribe to our YouTube channel. And make sure that you do subscribe so that you can be notified whenever we drop new videos like this one. So we've got two different kinds of pickles. I got some for burgers and some for snacking. And we urge you to get in the kitchen and try this recipe along with any of our others over at The Buttered Home. And as usual, if you make it and you love it, send me a message. I love to talk to you guys. And as always, from The Buttered Home to your home, we love y'all. Bye.